Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to this edition of SportsView on nearmedia.tv. And on our YouTube channel, you'll find all those programs. And we want more subscribers. We want you to subscribe. You press the red button on the right-hand side, and it's free of charge to subscribe. And thank you very much. Good evening, Derwynne, Honan, and welcome.
Hey, Pat. How are you?
I'm very well. A lot of sport, as usual, over the weekend. A lot of some shocks across the board in boxing and in rugby. Of course, we had Argentina beating South Africa, the world champions in rugby, and it was an absolute cracking game, cracking game, I would say, I saw most of it. And New Zealand beat Australia in a tight match as well, and just in the rugby, before we get into soccer, in the world rugby rankings, I'm confused. Maybe it's my old age that I'm confusing, but Ireland is still number one in the world rugby rankings. Now, when they only got to the quarterfinals of the last competition ever, which is the World Cup. I don't know how they could be number one. I don't know how they measure these things.
I think it gets all re-ranked like at Christmas.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because then they would have played some autumn internationals, which count for us.
It's not carried on like golf where all the tournaments and your ranking.
No,
maybe that's why.
Re-ranked around Christmas time, I think.
Because since the World Cup, Argentina have beaten Australia, they've beaten the All Blacks, and they've beaten South Africa, and they're only ranked 6th.
Yeah. No, I think it gets re-ranked after the autumn internationals over here.
Oh yeah.
And then it gets another reshuffle after the Six Nations.
And the championship, of course, down under has one game left. They have 5 played. The championship. Oh yeah.
I think the championship, like for the Southern Hemisphere, that gets included in the re-ranking after the Six Nations.
Ah.
So I think they run it like sort of June to June, that type of way, because then that covers their winter and our winters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, in the soccer over the weekend in the Premiership, you had wins for Chelsea, Villa, Fulham, Liverpool, and Spurs, and there was a load of draws in the other ones, and Man City and Arsenal drew 2-2 in their match, Thanks to the referee, it was a draw, But in my opinion,
I can't believe they had 9 minutes of extra time.
Well, it's all the opinions expressed on the show, I must admit, are our own personal opinions. And my own personal opinion is Man City are now the Lance Armstrong of Premiership soccer in England, in my opinion.
Well, I think you've got, once they get into this inquiry out the way with the 115 different complaints or broken rules, shall we say?
Rule breaking, yeah.
I think that will change it, and I think Arsenal are obviously in the ascendancy, aren't they? They to me, they are the number one team.
They played very well, and I think the sending off was very harsh.
Well, I mean, the trouble is, Pat, they know you can't kick the ball away.
I know, but to have a sending off for that is childish.
Yeah, but it was his second booking, wasn't it?
It's not sport. It's not deserved of a yellow card either. It's a ticking off, take your name. It's ridiculous.
I just think sometimes the rules are. I don't know. I mean, I was reading today about the new changes to the handball.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's even more ridiculous now. You just sit there. I read it and I read it twice, and I'm thinking to myself, I still don't understand this.
Now, Derwynne, you don't know this, but we have emerging a young star in soccer, very young star, living down in Essex, and she plays for the Harlow Techers. Isabel Honan is her name. Isabel Honan. She plays for the Harlow Techers, and they won the under-13 over the weekend 4-1 was the score, and wait for it, Isabel scored all 4 goals in
Oh, wow.
in the match, and she's a fanatical soccer player. We've done a small bit of research. My researcher did that, Mary. And to our mum and dad, Lisa and Alan, we know how proud you are of her, and we wish her the very best. And we hope to see her in an England jersey, not in the not too distant future. So you heard it here first. Our tribute to Isabel Honan from the Harlow Techers, under 13 champions, 4-1, and she scored all 4 goals. So watch out, Erling Haaland.
You see, you can't keep these Honans down, I tell you.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, you know. They're everywhere. I just but Manchester United drew 0-0 with Crystal Palace, and I don't know what to say about that match. But the two teams that impressed me personally over the weekend the most were Fulham and Aston Villa. I thought they looked very well, you know, and Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Villa are doing really well, aren't they? I mean, they're punching above their weight a little bit, I think.
Who, Villa?
Yeah.
And Fulham, I think, have a great way of playing soccer. I just love watching them. I just love watching them, you know.
Yeah.
They're just, I'd love to go to see them playing. You know, I just love to see them.
They always say that West Ham is everybody's second favourite team, but I think that's wrong. Because I think a lot of people have got a soft spot for Fulham.
Well, I like Fulham. I like their philosophy. They've got their footballing philosophy, and I think they're a bit of a fresh air team.
You ever ask my dad about the coldest stadium in London? He'll always tell you Craven Cottage. Because of being right on the Thames.
Yeah.
The cold wind that comes off the Thames. I mean, he used to go to Fulham all the time when he was a kid.
Yeah.
They used to basically nick boxes off the fruit guys, off the fruit wagons, selling fruit on the way to the stadium. So they could stand on the cardboard boxes instead of standing on the concrete.
Oh, yeah, of course. When a cold day on the concrete, I tell you, you'll be pretty stiff with the cold. You bloody well would, yeah. I was in the ground maybe once or twice as a way back in the day, but I can't remember it anyway, you know. But I can take his viewpoints about it being cold. So according to your dad, the coldest venue for soccer Premiership is in Craven Cottage.
Oh, without a shadow of doubt, yeah.
Well, my own team, Luton, who I was supporting last year, had a win over the weekend. Luton Town, they beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-1 at home. So Wrexham won again, and they're top of the league now, jointly with Birmingham. And really, I think they might be going for another record, another promotion to the championship. Who knows? Joe's old team, Grimsby, had a good win at home. And our adopted team here, we talked about last week, Bonnyrigg Rose from League 2 in Scotland. Bonnyrigg Rose, I think the Scottish accent. They had an away win at last against Stirling, 2-0. And it was brilliant. I'm on their Facebook page. It was brilliant celebrations, you know. And it's a real community team, you know, a real community team. You have the local plumbers and the local carpenters, joineries, all sponsored them. And I think it looked a fantastic place to be to me anyway, you know, even in the cold weather, you know. And that's Bonnyrigg Rose, a bowler bus for them.
I love the fact that you actually had to explain that was a Scottish accent.
Harry Kane scored 3 over the weekend for Bayern Munich, and AC Milan won and beat Inter Milan in the Milan derby. You know, a 2-1 cracking game. AC Milan, but the Premiership are Man City are top of the Premiership with 13 points. Now there's only 5 games played. Liverpool have 12, Villa have 12, Arsenal have 11, Chelsea have 10. Newcastle have 10 and Brighton have 7. They are the top 2, 4, 6, 7 teams in the Premiership. And in League 1, Wrexham and Birmingham City are joint top with 16 points. Then you have Barnsley 13, Charlton Athletic 13, Huddersfield 12, and Lincoln City 11. And in the Championship, West Brom are top with Sunderland, Burnley, Blackburn, Sheffield United, and Leeds. So they're the top six. But it's early days yet. But nevertheless, I think even though they only drew with Man City, I think Arsenal looked far stronger than they did last year. I know there's only 5 games gone there, and to me, they look more purposeful in their and look more confident as a team as well.
Yeah, I mean they did really well, didn't they? With 10 men for virtually the whole of that second half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it was for the whole second half, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and they did well.
To hold it, I thought was great, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you watch the antics of Guardiola kicking his chair, breaking his chair on the dugout, and you just kind of like get a grip in that. I mean, I think what Haaland did with throwing the ball at the back of Gabriel's head. Now again today, I read that the Premier League aren't taking any action about that.
No, are you surprised?
Well, yeah, I mean it's Man City again, isn't it? They get away with blue murder, don't they?
They do, yeah. And there's a picture today of Ken Oliver, the referee, in the Manchester City jersey on social media.
Yeah, I mean it's true. It's true. You do sit there and I know it's wrong to say it, but you kind of question it every time, don't you?
It's a disappointing time for the Premiership. It's a disappointing time for clubs who are forced, through no fault of their own, to follow the rules. It's very disappointing to me, It's very disappointing of the people who are in charge to run the game to have this fear of people with money,
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, you've had Everton, you've had, I think, Notts Forest have been done. You've got loads of teams who've been done on it.
Derby County,
Derby, and you've got the one big team who's got the most defaults against them, and yet nothing is dragging its heels, and it's like, well, why?
I don't know really what the answer is. I mean, it's a distraction really in a way. It is a distraction, but I think we from time to time we do look back at soccer matches that were played years ago. We have a clip, to me, of probably one of the most talented players I saw playing, and he might be a bit forgotten now, but he was an absolute cracking player. That was Paul Gascoigne,
Mm-hmm.
and he had his own troubles off the field, but that's for another day. But he was an absolutely superb player with free kicks, with his whole. I think he had a brilliant soccer brain myself, But we're going for all the Paul Gascoigne fans, and there's thousands of them around. We're going to show you a clip here. We hope it brings you back good memories. And sit back and enjoy this 4 minutes of Paul Gascoigne.
Mabbott has gone forward with Stewart to the right, Lineker and Howes to the left. Is Gascoigne going to have a crack? He is, Oh, I say! Brilliant! That is schoolboy's own stuff. Oh, I bet even he can't believe it. Is there anything left from this man to surprise us? That was one of the finest free kicks that this stadium has ever seen. Seaman got his hands, couldn't hold. Spurs have the lead. Stewart. Enjoyed playing in midfield. Stewart, nice little touch from Gascoigne. Allen was onside, plenty forward. Mabbott trying to get there. Smith, it's gone in. Lineker got the final touch. Alan Smith was back in his own 6-yard area, but that was the flick that did it. There, put Allen away. Howes was forward, Mabbott was forward, Smith was back, Lineker with a little stub toe. Tottenham are 2 up. Smith. Feel for offside, it's not. It's curled. Smith! He scored! Dixon's cross. Smith's head. And Arsenal have got what they desperately needed. A goal before half-time. It was a good cross. Wind, I suspect, held it up a little bit. Smith rose the highest, and Torsved, who was quite close to his line, found it beating him on his left side. Naeem. Slight hesitancy. Good tackle by Edinburgh. Mabbotts fed it well. Naeem to the left. Samway's ahead. And Lineker uses him by not using him. Good try, score! And David Seaman will be very disappointed about that. It seemed to go through his fingers. Good break by Tottenham. Very, very good running by Samways that helped the opening. But I don't think David Seaman will be too happy. Look at the run he makes. And that gives a bit of space to Lineker to his right. But the shot seemed to go through the fingers.
Well, a poor, soft goal. But as you say, Vinny Samways, look at his run there. Takes ball, Tony Adams dives in. Gary Lineker gets a yard away from him. Stretches for the shot. And Seaman appeared to get both hands to it, went through his fingers, and I think that expression sums up what he thinks about it.
An example to any professional player, Gary Mabbotts, and he's going to bring his team back here for the final. And Gaza with the kisses and being kissed. And
that was an unknown memory there. A lot of Tottenham and Arsenal. There was a lot of internationals on that team, on both teams. I think you had Gary Lineker and you had Tony Adams and Dixon, wasn't Lee Dixon on?
Yeah, Lee Dixon.
Yeah, you had a good few, you know.
Yeah.
And it's great to see Paul Gascoigne and Venables, of course, Terry Venables as well. They're no longer knocking around, but great memories, great football. But I think there was a lot of adverse reaction in the press to the behaviour of Man City and the behaviour of their manager over the weekend. You know, I think he let himself down personally, and I think he let the team down as well. You know, and
I just, you know, we've said it on air before, but to me, you know, Guardiola, as much as everybody raves about him, to me, he needs to go and do it with a team that aren't all thoroughbred racehorses.
Yeah, as my mother's, God rest her soul, used to say, he's a bit of a pup.
Yeah, to me, he's got the best players. He's got the most expensive budget.
Yeah.
If you can't make that work, then you shouldn't be doing it, should you?
Yeah. I mean, he'd be the last person you'd expect to be acting like that with a team that's...
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. He had the same deal when he was Barcelona. He had money, best players. Yes, he wins everything. Goes to Bayern Munich. He's got the most budget. He's got best players in Germany, and he wins everything. Comes to Man City. He's got the biggest budget. He's got the best players. He wins everything. Well, go and do that with West Brom. Go and do it with Walsall.
Exactly.
Go and do it with Plymouth Argyle.
Yeah, do it with Luton Town, yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're that good, you should be able to do it with any player, not the best players. I mean, me and you, Pat, could go and manage Man City.
They don't need a manager, you know.
No.
And you know, it's, I mean, they know where each other are. All the players are so used to each other, and they're playing at a high level, both with their country and the club. So
yeah,
he's a team.
I mean, it's not even a team of internationals. He's got a whole club of internationals, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, full. Now, over the weekend, we had the long-going saga of British heavyweights, or I should say soft British heavyweights down through the years. I mean, I know you have to blow up, you have to talk up these fights to get interested, but it's astonishing to me that you had Wembley Stadium full Saturday night for the fight between David Dubois and Anthony Joshua. Now, David Dubois, in my opinion, and I don't mind saying it, he was robbed in his fight against Alexander Usyk. Totally robbed. He knocked the guy out. It took him 2 minutes he was given 2 minutes to recover. You know, I mean, really, to me, there's been a lot of carry on in boxing down through the years. I'm still a big fan, and anytime you have the heavyweights, it's a big occasion. Anyone who was who in boxing was at ringside. Tyson Fury was at ringside, you know. Now I can't repeat on air what he said because there was a few beeps in the words he used. Anyway, I think when Dubois caught Joshua at the end of the first round up in the temple and knocked him down, I think he was in trouble then. He knew. I mean, I don't know. I'm only guessing. He knew that Dubois had power. He always knew he had power because remember a few years ago he used him regularly for sparring. So he knew what he should have known what he was. You know, I think Anthony Joshua, what I could see on the ring on the fight last night, I think he does not follow instructions from his corner. Just does not follow because he was too far away from Dubois to do damage. He was too far away, and his punches had to travel. You know, I thought he was too far away. You know, way too far away from him.
I just thought he got totally outboxed, didn't he?
Well, he did. Yeah, he was destroyed in the 4.5 rounds he was there, and he was absolutely overwhelmed. And I think it's time for. Well, he has nowhere to go now. He'll have to retire, in my opinion, because there's no fights left for him. You know, because I know there's a clause, a turnabout, but I don't think Dubois will be in any hurry to fight Joshua again. You know, on the 21st of December, for people who follow boxing, on the 21st of December, you have Tyson Fury going in against the Ukrainian Alexander Usyk again, and I don't think myself with Tyson Fury what he saw in the ring there, I don't think he'll make the same mistake again against. Under taking not taking Usyk seriously in the first fight. He didn't train properly. He was a good bit overweight, and I think he never thought that he'd lose that fight against Usyk, but he did.
I think Usyk will win it.
Huh?
I think Usyk will win.
No, Usyk is not even a heavyweight in my opinion. People have him overrated. And all this Ukrainian sympathy makes me, all this woke stuff around him is terrible with the blue and yellow flag and oh God, it makes me really throw up. But anyway, it's a boxing match. But I think Fury will annihilate him in the 1st of December.
Oh, do you know what? I just got a funny feeling that I don't think Tyson Fury sometimes doesn't help himself, does he?
Definitely not.
I don't think he takes some things very serious, but I mean, you have to be honest. I mean, Joshua was in trouble from, like you said, from round one, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And there's a picture on our screen there of the knockout, but we only said we couldn't. There was a copyright on all the images from the fight, all the moving images, so we cannot put it up. We weren't allowed to put it up, you know.
I think you've also got that referee. I think he kind of nearly let that go a little bit too far, didn't he?
Well, the referee himself warned Dubois in the first round before he knocked him down about his head. Now, when Dubois moves in, clinches with Joshua, his head is down below it because he's a shorter man. He didn't headbutt him, and he pulled him back, and he called one of the knockdowns not a knockdown. Do you remember?
Yeah.
One of the knockdowns in the fight he waved. I thought he was waving the fight away. Maybe, I mean, Joshua did land 2 right hands in the start of the 5th round on Dubois, but he took him well, and he covered him. But that's it. That's what the heavyweight boxing. It only takes one punch at times.
But again, to me, there was that one round where he was sat basically on the ropes getting hammered, and the bell, and you kind of just go, I'm not sure he should have come out for the next round, to be honest.
His corner were looking at him intently, all right, but he seemed to have his senses about him. But I don't know. It's a funny fight. No, Dubois is not a world beater by any means. He's a handy boxer, but my God, he's a good boxer. He's made a lot about what he's had, and I don't know what he'll fight next or who he will fight next. Well, it won't be Joshua, and I think Joshua will retire if he has any sense. He has more money left.
I know Fury was saying that he wants to have a fight with him.
With Joshua?
With Dubois.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fury has problem with smaller boxers, though, because he's punching down and your power goes. But I think he'd take Usyk, all right. Well, our friend over the weekend in the golf, our friend was a bridesmaid again. Derwynne, Rory McIlroy. Now, in fairness to him, he was in the playoff against Billy Horschel, and
he was. But if you watch him in that final round, every time he's got a left to right putt, he gets up out of it early and misses it low right every time. Yeah. It's like starting to become like a thing. You can see it. Yeah, every time he's got a left to right putt, it doesn't matter from inside 20 feet and inwards. He gets up and out of that putting stroke early every time, and it misses low and right all the time. And I'm just surprised now no one's grabbing hold of him, because it's so clear when you watch it on the TV. Just left shoulder gets up, and he's pushed it right every time on a left to right borrow. I mean, a top player will pull that putt because he's trying to keep it up the left hand side because of the break.
Yes.
So the miss will always be left. It will never be low right from a tour player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time you see him on a left to right breaker, he leaves it low and right every time.
But he's played a lot of his golf in Europe as well now, Billy Horschel,
He has, and he's loved over here.
And he's a nice man.
Yeah, I think dare I say, he's one of those level-headed, not quite so screaming and shouting American players.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't see the flag, but I know I'm only joking. He's his interview. He's well liked. He's well liked by the golfing crowd, by the golfing community. He's well liked by the Horschel, And
his interview afterwards was really good, because he said his interview afterwards on the 18th green was brilliant, because he just literally said, "Whenever I come, I feel like I'm at home."
There you go. And we know, we spoke about it before, the BMW Championship at Wentworth was considered as important as the Open Championship from golfing fans one time. What did you think of the field that it attracted, Derwynne, yourself now over the weekend?
I mean, it gets a big field. It gets a strong field. I mean, it won't get the Americans coming over. Because there's the money's not even close to what they're playing for every single week. Even when they're playing in Hicksville, wherever, they're still playing for more money.
There was interesting a few articles last weekend that the golfing authority in America have said that all the LIV golfers are eligible to be picked for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, but the only trouble with that is they're going to be picked as wild cards, aren't they?
Well,
they're not going to get any points for the rankings.
No, but I think that Europe has handled it better in that you have to play four events, and I think that Ram and Tel Hatton and a few more have decided to do that.
Yeah, but I mean that to me is, they're just they're going to be wildcard picks because they ain't going to earn enough points.
Now, as we're talking about golf, we have Brian Huggett passed away.
Yeah.
Brian Huggett passed from Port Call. Porthcawl, is it? Is that how you say it?
That's it, Porthcawl, yeah.
Porthcawl, and he played in 6 Ryder Cups, just Brian Hubbard himself, and he was runner-up in the Open twice.
Yep.
He was runner-up. I have it written down here in front of me, lads. Don't worry, in case I forget it. Brian Hubbard, he was runner-up to the wonderful Arnold Palmer in 1962, and he was 13 shots behind him. That's a lot, that's a lot. But nevertheless, he was runner-up. But he was runner-up then to, guess who? Peter Thompson.
Yep.
In 1965. We were only 2 shots behind Peter Thompson, and then he won the Open. So he won 16 times on the European circuit. That's Brian Hubbard. He stranded both Ryder Cups. When the Ryder Cup began with Brian Hubbard and playing, it was Britain and Ireland versus the US.
Yep.
And he played in the last Ryder Cup in 1977, was Britain and Ireland versus the US. That's Brian Hubbard. And he played in 1979 as well, did he? Yes, he played 1979 as well. No, he was captain. Sorry, he was captain in 77. But he was also on the team that attracted the Ryder Cup to Wales in 2010. Is it? Yeah.
Celtic Manor, yeah.
Celtic Manor with Woozy, and they won 14.5, 13.5, is it?
I think they won it by a point. I think.
They won by a point, yeah. That was I remember in the pouring, awful rain. I mean, the rain was so bad one of the days. I remember it.
Well, the golf course ended up being like a quagmire.
It did, yeah, it did.
Where all the spectators were walking, it was just pure
muck,
liquid mud.
And what kind of a course is a Celtic Manor? Is it just a parkland course? Is that what you call it?
It would be a parkland, but I mean it's not that great really as a golf course.
Yeah. We're looking forward here in this neck of the woods to having our own Ryder Cup here in Adair Manor.
Yeah.
It'll be coming up soon, and there's excitement starting about already.
You need to get your press passes for that.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Well, my son is just, and his buddies they're just golf mad, pure mad. Behind me here, you can't see it. There's a hat hanging up here behind me with Till Hatton signed it in the Irish Open and some few more.
Okay.
Anyway, over the golf over the weekend course, one of my favorite golfers, Lydia Ko. Lydia Ko won again the Queen City Golf at -23. Oh yeah, Billy Horschel at -20, and Padraig Harrington and Shane Lowry finished at -12 in the BMW. So Harrington had a good tournament, and Lydia Ko won the ladies over there at -23, 67, 66, 69, and 63, and Leonie Maguire was playing in that as well, but she finished a good bit down the field. She finished at -6, and when you have a couple of rounds in the 70s, even in the women, you just are not in contention.
Yeah, you fall off it straight
You
away.
do. We have an emerging star in the ladies' game here, Lauren Walsh, and she was playing in the European Open, ladies' European Open, in the La Sella Open, and it was won by the German Helen Brea at -18. But Lauren Walsh, she finished at -5. I'm picking her up because this is only her second or third professional event. She started off with a 75 on Thursday, and but the other 3 rounds, if you counted the other 3 rounds, she did very well, 69, 70, and 69. So she did well, And Brian Huggett, for all those who remember Brian Huggett, he was known as the Welsh Bulldog. Brian Huggett, the Welsh Bulldog.
He was a lovely guy. I met him a couple of times.
Yeah,
this guy.
Yeah, I mean the tributes to him were fabulous. There are too many of them to read out, but they're just fantastic. He's an easy 87 or 88. Very, very good.
He's a good guy. A good guy.
Yeah. Portugal. And it was over the weekend. Then we had the English Open in snooker over the weekend, and Neil Robertson qualified for the final against Wu Yitzi from China. And the funny thing about the game, Robertson was leading 8-1. 8-1. And when it broke up and we came back for the last session, the China fella, the man Wu from China, won 6 frames in a row.
Wow.
To bring it back to 8-7. Robertson was interviewed afterwards. Yeah, they hit him. But he won the next frame to win the tournament 9-7. The last time he won the European Open as well, almost the same thing happened to him, but he still won it 9-7. That's Neil Robertson. Wow. In 9-7. So can you imagine sitting in your chair for 6? I mean, it's a long time, It's you'll be sitting there for 20 an hour and a half, an hour and 3 quarters, not playing a ball.
Ronnie Sullivan's pulled out today, didn't he?
Ronnie was knocked out in the early round of the English Open. He pulled out of what?
He pulled out of today's English Open, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he pulled out, didn't play.
Oh.
Mark Williams lost in the first round.
Oh.
Yeah, there's been a few shocks.
But Mark Williams is playing well recently as well,
Yeah, he lost. I think he lost heavily. Let's put it that way.
Whoa.
And Ronnie didn't even turn up. He just pulled out.
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan, I suppose it's like tennis, it's like any game that you're at the top for a while. It's like Novak Djokovic. He didn't win after the gold medal winning in Paris at the Olympics. He didn't do well since,
Yeah.
And but he's 37. He'll be 38 years now next year, and he even has said it himself, like your body, your physical body. Even you do the same training, but it's the years of playing takes its toll, and you never know when the floor is reached physically. Mentally, you're ready and you can play it and I can do this, but in a game, it can be over before it begins for you, And
easily. Yeah,
it happens to everybody,
Well, they let you lose speed, don't you? That's the first thing that goes, isn't it?
Yeah, your reflexes.
Yeah.
It's like soccer. The ball is over there.
Yeah, but you can't do anything about it.
You can't reach it.
No.
You simply cannot reach it. So what do? You foul if it's a team game, you just foul someone,
Yeah, exactly. Chop them down a bit.
Prevent them from getting it. Do a Norman Hunt on it.
Slow them up.
Do a Norman Hunt on it. But it is. It is, yeah. And with apologies to Norman, he was a good player. It's just a different time. A different time, But we had Formula 1 over in Singapore over the weekend. Lando Norris, the new kid on the block, the new star, the new face of Formula 1. Lando Norris, he beat Max Verstappen into second place, and Piastri in the second McLaren was in third place. Now in the Formula 1, Verstappen is still ahead at 331 points, but Norris is on 279 points. Charles Leclerc is on 245 and Piastri is on 237. There's still a mathematical chance that Lando Norris could pick Verstappen if the results keep going his way, And there's a lot of British drivers now. You have, of course, you still have Hamilton, who I thought would retire, but there's speculation now that he's going to get a ride for next year or the year after with one of the top guys. So he still has it.
Aren't they talking about Ferrari or something?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's 2 good drivers in Ferrari. I know what's going to happen, but that's the way it goes, Take what you do. But looking at the Premiership, looking at Manchester United, your team, Derwynne, they're just inside the top 10. There's only 5 games gone. Well, in rugby, we have to mention rugby. The championship down under, there's only one series of games left now in that. They have 5 games played, and did I write it down? I mean, I know that by heart. New Zealand are 2 points ahead of Argentina with Australia. And
Well, I think with United, Pat, I think 0-0 against Palace, that will always feel like a bit of a lost opportunity, won't it?
They should be winning that game.
Yeah.
They have enough at the moment in the team to win that game.
I think your man, Rashford didn't get on, did he? Rashford was on the bench, didn't get on.
Why?
I just think Ten Hag's probably gone by Christmas. Personally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the results have been extremely disappointing. Liverpool looked impressive, but over the weekend as well, I would say
with United, they just don't look. They don't look right. They're not right, are they?
No, as a team, when you look at Aston Villa, when you look at Fulham, how well organised they are, you wouldn't fancy United beating them on their day. Either of those teams. Was it Friday night or last weekend? I was watching Wrexham and Birmingham City. You didn't see that match, did you?
No, I didn't see that one.
And Wrexham got off to a great start. They won 1-0 up, and they looked to one. But Birmingham City, I must say, played some great soccer after that. I know they were playing at home, but they looked very well. They looked very good, and they really played Wrexham off the pitch for the rest of the match. In my opinion. But Wrexham had a good win then over the weekend. It was during the week. It was last Monday night or Tuesday, I forget. Anyway, it's between Wrexham and Birmingham City in League One of the soccer over there in England to win that. I don't know who's going to. Oh yeah, we're getting back to the rugby. Argentina beat South Africa 29-28, but South Africa had a penalty to win the match with the last kick of the game. And he missed it. It was a dreadful miss. Dreadful miss.
I didn't see any of it.
A dreadful miss. And Argentina won it. New Zealand beat Australia 31-28, another tight match. But next weekend we'll tell us. Who Argentina are playing now next weekend, but there's only 2 points or 3 points separating second and third, so it's only 14 in it, so it'll be hell for leather. I don't know, is it on in 2 weeks' time or next week? I forget, but you should look it up. And they're just amazing games of rugby, I tell you. I wouldn't be a big rugby fan, but in the Pacific Nations Cup, which is the competition, you have the Six Nations and you have the Championship down under, and you have the Pacific Nations Cup, which contains all the other teams you see in the World Cup, like Japan, Fiji, Samoa, and teams like that, and the USA. The final was between Fiji and Japan. Another cracking game. I know you might think that a 41-17 match wasn't a good match, but it was just a fantastic game of rugby, in my opinion. Fiji and Japan. Fiji beat Japan in the final 41-17. And in the third and fourth playoff, they are in important positions for the qualification for the next Rugby World Cup. The USA had a cracking win over Samoa. 18-13, which was a surprise to some people. But the USA, they've been building for a long time. They've been building rugby there for a long time, but it's still a very minority sport in America. But they're in the next World Cup.
Yeah, it's growing, isn't it?
And they'll do well. our friend Munster started off the year in with a home match in the league, and they beat Connacht 35-33. A
Oh, wow.
tri-fest. A tri-fest. We have a new Irishman on our books. He came with Connacht, Bundy Aki.
Oh, okay.
He became an Irish citizen during the week. And he's here 10 years. I didn't realize he was going. So
Well,
there you
that makes him an Irishman, doesn't it?
and he speaks Gaeilge, and his kids still go to a Gael school, as Gaeilge. So cúpla focal a Bundy Aki agus Mahan Far. But he's legitimate Irish citizen now. He's done more for Connacht rugby than anybody that I know anyway. Ronan O'Gara's team, La Rochelle, had a great win against Power in the top 14, 49-25. So Ronan O'Gara, they were all speculation last year, the year before that he'd come back and manage Munster, but I can't see it happening with the way of life he has, and I don't know. I mean, he's like a god over in La Rochelle, you see his picture everywhere you go. But anyway, there's a lot of money in rugby in France,
Yeah.
And one of the things I noticed when we were over in France ourselves was we were driving from where? From Rougon, which is a small town near where we were staying, to Pézenas, which is the next big town up, And on the way from Rougon to Pézenas, there was this magnificent pitch. Oh, we couldn't stop it. I noticed on my right a rugby pitch, and I was looking up to see what rugby team plays here. Are we in rugby country? And then I came back. My nose was at me. I was talking to a few people. It was one of the second or third division teams, and I forget the name. But the facilities struck me. The facilities they had, a tier 2 or tier 3 rugby club. They had a training track as well as a pitch. They had a full gym, the whole lot, and a pool and the facilities in the clubhouse. Just most senior clubs, a lot of senior clubs in Ireland wouldn't go near those people for facilities. And people go there for social occasions.
I was just going to say, they're like community centres, aren't they?
They are, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where you get people interested in the sport,
Yeah.
You go there and you get. That's why I got interested in cricket. I never played it, I never clue what to play, but when I worked in London and we had everyone, Pat, you have to come to Sunday morning cricket, and I was saying that's the last place I want to be, is at a cricket match with a hangover on a Sunday morning. we used to go to the cricket matches. I know what we looked like, like something out of pantomime. But you get it. It's the social thing, the whole thing around it.
Yeah.
It's been the whole day there, Derwynne.
Yeah.
And if people ask me what we do, I couldn't tell them. But we had a great time. We were all together. We were working together, and it was just the whole buzz around it. The excitement of it. And then when I got to know the rules of the game, I got really interested in it. Then I enjoyed it. Then I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but I didn't tell anybody my secret for a long time.
You nearly became an Englishman there for a minute, Pat.
I did. They sent me to get checked out, but no, I was joking. Which is brilliant. I love watching the T20. I love the T20.
Yeah, T20 is fantastic.
Oh, it's just such a sport, And for anybody looking at this T20, if you want to get into cricket, and I remember an English friend of mine in Cork City when the old radio, I'm talking about radio early on, listening all day long to cricket. Not for an hour, the whole day on. And I was saying to him, before I understood Test cricket was 4 or 5 days, he said this will be on for the week,
Yeah. I remember sitting in a hotel room in Jakarta, in Indonesia, sharing a room with a Mexican golf pro.
Yeah.
The Indonesian Open had got a rain delay, and we'd all got sent home for the day because it was never going to get dry.
Yeah.
And India were playing, I think, Pakistan on some channel that I found on the TV. And I'm sharing a room with a Mexican, trying to explain to him cricket. And then John Daly appears knocks on the door. He comes in. Then another American pro came in, and I'm sitting there trying to. We can't listen to the commentary because it's all in Urdu
or something. Yeah.
And it was just hilarious because I'm sitting there with basically a Mexican and two Americans who don't understand a single thing I'm trying to explain.
No.
Yeah, doing demonstrations with a golf club about forward for defensives, and it was just hilarious. And they were like, "It's like baseball." No, it's nothing like baseball. What are you talking about?
No.
And it was just hilarious trying to explain it. But we sat there for basically the whole of the afternoon to watch this cricket in the room, and it was one of the funniest. You saying about trying to understand the rules. I mean, honestly, it was just hilarious sitting there doing it.
Yeah, and of course you get to know the people, and you get to know the umpires, what their function is.
Dickie Bird, and
you get to know their signals, and but you get to know all the razzmatazz around it. You do enjoy it, and I'm not saying that look, cricket isn't for everybody, but people should remember that people like yourself grew up with cricket. You grew up with the game. Where here in Ireland, we grew up with hurling, you know. But people coming from abroad that look at hurling, they think it's a complete insane game altogether, insane. But we don't think any of it. Of course, they call football in America where there's no football in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, American football is
that's what you're up against.
It's a football. What are you talking about?
I've always said Monday night football, so I put it on for the laugh, Monday night football, all these lads full in the studio, and they're so excited.
I know.
For a game that takes about 4 hours or 5 hours or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh my God, it's just does my head in. But I watch it for the commentary. I watch it for the lads who are commenting on it and assessing the game,
Yeah.
But one thing I don't find enjoyable is I don't understand the rules of American football, right? But it's what I say to people is, well, they take off one team and they put on another team if they want to score. And if they want to defend them, they take off the team they want to score with the team they want to defend. That's how I understand it, Well,
when you think about it, they have a touchdown, but the ball never hits the floor.
No.
They walk it into the end zone.
You run over the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Touchdown.
It's like, when did the ball get touchdown? Go and explain that to me.
When did it get kicked?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they call it punting, don't they? When did it get punted?
Yeah. Well, we're not purposely slagging off American football. There's a huge amount of money. It's insane the amount of money in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's bonkers. Yeah.
It's the same with the Premiership soccer players. I mean, a player getting €750,000 a week to play football. When you break it down like that, it's immoral.
Yeah, it's just bonkers, the whole thing.
It makes no sense.
Nah.
To me, it doesn't anyway, No, I didn't look up what's on during the week, but there'll be plenty of sport during the week anyway. I didn't have time to do that today. And Joe Waters will be back with us next week as well, Derwynne. And
no worries.
Yeah, it'll be great. We'll come to the end of another edition of SportsView. Tell all your friends about us, and my producer reminded me, and she must have watched some of the programs. Check up me. Our producer reminded me that when people to subscribe to our channel on our YouTube channel on YouTube, and press the red button on the right hand side, and we appreciate some more membership. We have, I think, 780. We want to get it up to 1,000 or something like that. I think you can get up to 1,000 or something. I don't know. I don't understand these things. You attract ads, you know.
Yeah. You start earning. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, the push is on, guys. So when you share it, make sure you share it with your friends who understand subscribing. But we're very happy with the subscribing.
And email in everybody so we can answer some questions.
Yes, yes, indeed. The email is only on the bottom. You have no excuse. There it is there somewhere at the
Along the
bottom.
bottom of the ticker tape.
If you can't remember that email, there's a bit of Irish and English in the name. If you can't remember, info@theirmedia.ie is another one. We put it up in there as well. Anyway, it's from Derwynne Honan, and rest in peace, Brian Hogan, is it? Brian Hogan?
Yep.
Rest in peace, Brian Hogan. One of the good guys of God who passed away, and there you go. From Derwynne Honan and from myself, till we meet again, when? Next Monday night, which will be the last day of the month. My goodness me, we'll be coming into the Christmas season.
Oh, I know. We'll have to get some tinsel out.
So from this is what you're doing, myself. Take care, guys.
No worries. Take care, Pat.
Take care,